Hey everybody, this is Dr. Chris Nelson here, and today's topic for our video is composite bonding and diastema closure using Bioclear Matrix Bands. So check it out. This particular case right there is a case we finished just today. We smoothed everything today, but the case we finished a couple days ago. And it was a really fun opportunity to help someone with their front teeth who wanted a change for a really long time. So what does that mean? Well, first of all, we need to rewind and talk about what a diastema is. Now, in dental terms, a diastema is a space between the front teeth. And for a lot of people, a space between the front teeth is something that they don't want. Now, there are certain people that have spaces between their front teeth that it's part of their character and part of their smile, and that is celebrated. But for a lot of people that have spaces between their front teeth, a lot of people want them to be eliminated. So for this particular patient, it's been bothering her for years and years, and she always wanted to have the space between her front teeth closed. So we talked and we did a workup. We took a bunch of photographs. We take a lot of pictures, and we actually did a digital simulation of what the smile would look like with spaces closed. We also did the simulation to get some idea of what shape teeth we wanted in the end. So after we did the digital simulation, we talked. We had some time to go back and forth about what shapes we desired. And then finally, we put together a solution, which was, okay, we can either solve this with crowns, with veneers, or with composite bonding. And chief among the concerns were the dark color tooth on number 9. So you don't need to know teeth numbers, but you'll see on the pictures that there's a darker tooth in the front. Well, that particular tooth had been root canal treated many years ago and then had some dental work done to it to try to improve and restore the tooth, but it was darker than the other teeth. So we made our plan. We also had the patient do some whitening. Some people call it bleaching, but it's whitening of the teeth. And then we finally decided on, hey, let's do the most conservative approach, which is composite bonding, and we'll start there. So to walk you through the case, we reserved the time. This took about 2 hours, and there was no anesthetic involved. So we were able to trim the teeth back just ever so slightly, and I did a little bit more on the darker tooth because I actually wanted to layer some fresh composite on that. And when we did that, we actually found out that that front tooth was actually just restored with a bunch of composite from before. So we had some debates as to whether or not it had porcelain on it or ceramic or some other version like Emax, something like that. The radiograph wasn't super conclusive, but when I drilled on it, it was very clear that it was just old composite. So I drilled that back a fair amount to trim away space, and then I was able to start adding composite using a system called Bioclear Matrix Bands. I'm sure there's a lot of other videos out there, and someday I'll maybe do an actual training video on how to use that material, or the bands. But essentially what they are very specifically shaped plastic retainers, I guess like a plastic form to hold in composite filling material. And so we were able to add I use this technique where I warm up the composites and we layer some really flowable composite with some thicker composite, and we're able to rebuild the tooth. And what you'll see in one of these photos is we actually overbuild the teeth, and then through practice and repetition and years of experience, I'm able to go ahead and trim the teeth back to the shape that we want. So as you'll see, we were able to go from a beginning situation that is pretty like, whoa, that's, there's spaces. It's not a bad look, but it's not a look that the patient wanted, and we had a dark tooth. And now fast forward, we have a much more symmetrical look, and we also have a tooth that is not as dark anymore. Now, some criticisms, dentists can be their own worst enemy in terms of assessing their skills, and especially when you take big photos and look at them on a big screen like I have behind me. So if I were to be critical about that, and the patient is very well versed in seeing teeth, so we both agreed that that tooth is still a little bit dark, but we also both agreed that we made a dramatic improvement in the shape, the shade, and everything about the case. So our goal is to actually have the patient wear these composites for a long time. We just recently polished them. We had the patient wear them for a couple days just to see how they felt. Found a couple spots, we polished them, adjust them, and then now we're going to see how the patient likes it, because is it perfect? There's a shade discrepancy. There is, but it's such a big improvement over where we started. So it's just we're going to see how the patient likes that, and then if we want to, we can always move up the ladder of complexity, which is like, okay, do we want to do crowns? Do we want to do veneers? Or are we okay with where we're at? So that's the really fun thing about conservative dentistry and having a long-term relationship with the patient, is that we can actually plan these cases together as a team and move forward and get a result that it works for the patient and also is really exciting for us to deliver as well. So what do you think about the case? Do you like it? Do you think that we missed the mark? Are you bothered by the shade, or are you happy with it? Are you thinking that the patient should have left the diastema or closed them? What do you think? If you leave a comment, I'll read the comments. Be nice, because the person who had the teeth done will, I'm sure, watch the video. So if you're going to leave a comment, presume that the person's going to see your comment. And then yeah, I love that. So give me some feedback, and then I'll see you on the next video. Take care.